From Delaware's most award-winning radio news team, this is WDEL Video News. Here's Chris Carl.
Among Delaware's top stories for Friday, September 28th, new details in the Dell State shooting case. Another call for resignations in the state health department. Candidates are lining up for retiring Senator Vaughn's seat. Here are the details as the accused Dell State shooter prepares for a preliminary hearing this morning. New details on the case are emerging. Court documents show lawyer Braden admitted that he fired a gun and promised to stay out of trouble if he got away with the shooting of two fellow students. Witnesses interviewed by police told police that Braden, a freshman from East Orange, New Jersey, showed up at an apartment last Friday night after he had been questioned as a person of interest in the shooting earlier that day and was visibly shaking. A witness also told police about meeting Braden on Sunday after authorities had identified Braden as a suspect and listening while Braden talked about the shooting. The witness told police that Braden said he would never do anything like that again if he got away with the shooting. 1 week after the shooting, one of the victims remains in the hospital in serious condition. A state lawmaker is again calling for the resignation of Delaware's health secretary, as well as two other administrators. Republican Representative Greg Lavelle of North Wilmington has sent a second letter to Governor Minner. The latest comes in the wake of news that a report concluded the Delaware Psychiatric Center is not protecting patients from abuse or investigating abuse claims in a timely manner, violating patient rights. Lavelle believes many lawmakers, and more importantly the public, have lost confidence in DHSS Secretary Vince McConey, as well as administrators Renata Henry and Susan Robinson, and he believes they should resign immediately. Governor Minner said she stands by McConey and his team, crediting them with improving conditions at DPC while in office. Well, the heat proves to be too much for 4 girls at Stanton Middle School as they were sent to the hospital yesterday. The students were running in the afternoon as part of a state-mandated fitness test. A Red Clay School District spokeswoman tells WDEL News the girls are now doing okay. A driver's health problem causes a 3-car fiery accident. WDEL News continues in a moment.
As you look for your college experience, make sure you look at Wilmington College, your key to success.
Wilmington police say a stroke is probably what caused a 3-car accident Wednesday afternoon. The driver was swerving on southbound 95, exiting at Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. The car hit 2 other cars, finally coming to rest in front of the Delaware Children's Theater. One of those cars caught fire. Police say they've been told the driver, 77-year-old Thomas Geemer of Wilmington, suffered a stroke. He later died at Christiana Hospital. State Senator Jim Vaughn's retirement becomes official today, and already candidates are lining up to run in the upcoming special election. State Representative Bruce Ennis, a Democrat from Smyrna, says he has Vaughn's blessing to run. Ennis has received an official endorsement from the state Democratic Party. Republican Party officials say they'll conduct interviews, giving all those interested a chance to say why they'd be a good candidate. And John Feroci says he's throwing his hat into that ring. Feroci lost a bid to unseat Vaughn in last year's election, despite the incumbent not actively campaigning for re-election. Lieutenant Governor Carney has 30 days to schedule a special election. The Phillies are in first place. WDEL Sports and your Delaware AccuWeather forecast coming up.
I'm Peter MacArthur.
I'm Melanie Armstrong, and here are Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour.
The most complete coverage of the news that matters in Delaware. Every weekday morning, 5:30 till 9 on 1150 AM WDEL.
In WDEL Sports, the Phillies beat the Braves 6-4, while the Mets lost to St. Louis 3-0. So with 3 games left in the season, the Phillies are tied for the NL East lead. Brett Myers struck out Kelly Johnson for the final out as a Rally Towel home crowd of over 40,000 roared. The Phillies jumped on Braves starter John Smoltz for 4 runs in the first inning, 2 on Ryan Howard's 44th homer of the year. Pat Burrell increased the lead to 6-0 with his 30th homer of the season in the third. The Phillies host Washington for the next 3 games of the weekend. You will hear the games on WDEL. Coverage tonight starts at 6:30. Meantime, the Mets play at Shea against the Florida Marlins. It's been a bizarre couple of weeks for Delaware football off the field, not on. With that and more with the Blue Hens, here's WDEL's Lee St. John.
What's wrong with this picture? Your team's off to a 4-0 start for the first time since you won a national championship. Your defense is absolutely crushing opponents. Your senior running back has scored more points than anyone in college football, not to mention 4 teams in your own conference. And for the last 2 weeks, you've dropped in the national rankings. Well, you can forget about asking head coach K.C. Keeler. He doesn't seem to be viewing the same exhibit. His concerns are instead on Saturday's first ever meeting with the Monmouth Hawks.
This is your typical trap game. You know, you have a conference opponent who's beaten you 2 years in a row on one end, and then on the other end you have a conference opponent who's beaten you 2 years in a row on the other end, and they're both playoff caliber teams, and then you throw a non-conference game in the middle. I think it's a little bit like Westchester in that you'll know what kind of team you have in terms of your maturity, how you come out and play in a game where you're favored. And we should be favored, home field advantage and all those things. But at the same time, I think we'll know a lot more about the character of this team and the leadership of this team with how we practice and how we play.
The Hawks come in 0-3, looking for their first win after going 10-2 last year. 15th-year head coach Kevin Callahan says this may not be the best time for his team to play Delaware, but at this point, he's got little choice.
Playing University of Delaware is probably the most formidable task against the greatest opponent that we've played in our history. Just watching them on the tapes that we have in the exchange, they're a very well-coached, outstanding football team. They have a tremendous amount of talent on both sides of the ball, and we're up to quite a task.
It's another 7 p.m. kickoff Saturday at Delaware Stadium from Newark. Lee St. John, 11:50 a.m. WDEL Sports.
Your WDEL Delaware AccuWeather forecast, maybe a shower early, otherwise clouds and sun mixed through today, a high 80. Clear tonight, low 54. For the weekend, sunshine both days with highs around 75. Get news updates throughout the day, Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour on 11:50 a.m. WDEL or anytime right here at WDEL.com. I'm Chris Carl. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.